Today in the studio we have Tonee Ndungu, a techpreneur, innovation architect and founder of Kitabu, a revolutionary digital textbook subscription system. I'm George Asias, founder of African Speakers and Artists, and I'd like to welcome you to our Trailblazer interview series.
I think Africa Rising started in the tech space. A lot of people think that entrepreneurship is something that is new because of technology. No, entrepreneurship has been there for ages in Africa. The only difference is technology has almost flattened the race. It's flattened the opportunity. It's allowed everybody an opportunity to build up on the Africa Rising narrative. And I do know that the fastest accelerator for the Africa Rising concept is technology, whether it's in finance, which we've seen in Kenya and many other parts of East Africa, or it's in health or in education, which I'm involved in. The technology is going to help us leapfrog a lot of the things in terms of infrastructure and knowledge skill that we've never had to allow Africa to accelerate. So I know that the Africa Rising concept is new, but it's powerful. In the next decade, it's going to change the entire continent, irrespective of whether people believe it's going to happen or not. That's really not the issue. The issue is how quickly will it happen and how many people will it carry along with it, because those are the things that really matter.
There is a lady who I'm sure you know, Oria Kolo, who's very well known in Kenya and who we hope one day to represent. And she has an interesting take on it, which she says that you can't entrepreneurship your way out of bad policy, you can't innovate your way out of bad policy, and a country's context needs to be right in order for innovation to take place.
That's correct.
In your experience this year and your own journey leading up to this point, have you felt that Kenya and Kenya government has helped or hindered your own progress?
Both. I think one of the things that people need to appreciate, just like Ori I'm sure appreciates, is that there's a place for policy and government and there's a place for innovators. And there's always going to be a time when the two of them have to merge. And depending on how that merger feels, you're going to have success or failure. I'll give a very practical example. Before the mobile money solution succeeded here in Kenya, there's a lot of policy against it from the already established banking system. And they tried their best to suppress it because they felt it was a very big form of competition for them. Now what's happened is, because the policy wasn't there, mobile money flourished, and now the banks have bought into it, and now every bank has a mobile money solution in it. And if you try to do that in any other country, even in West Africa, that's a big challenge, because the banks have seen what's happening in East Africa, and they don't necessarily want to see it happen there. So the policy has been put in place to stop that from growing. So it depends on how you interact with the government. If the government sees an opportunity and opens up the policy guidelines for people to try and fail and try again, success. If they do not, then you have real issues. And I think where Ori is coming from, which makes sense to me, is there's a couple of things that have to be done and have to be done right for that to happen. For example, an opportunity has to be afforded those who know what they're doing in a new space. Trying to get the old people to do the same thing over and over again will create the different results. Get new people to do a different thing and see where that goes. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to who writes the policy, who signs the document, and who passes these bills. And it's still not going to be entrepreneurs and innovators doing that.